Before we start, tell me where you're listening from in the comments. Maybe you're someone who's been married before and you're wondering if love is worth trying again. Maybe you're thinking about what you really want in a partner versus what you thought you wanted when you were younger. Maybe you're curious about how heartbreak changes what we look for in relationships. Or maybe you're just wondering if it's possible to find real love after making real mistakes. This conversation is for you. At 54, having been married 3 times, I've learned something that might surprise you. I'm not looking for my next wife. I'm preparing to be someone worth finding. That's a distinction that took me 3 divorces and years of reflection to understand. When you're young, you think finding the right person is about search criteria, intelligence, beauty, shared interests, compatibility markers. You can check off a list. When you're older and wiser, you realize that lasting love isn't about finding someone who meets your requirements. It's about becoming someone who deserves the kind of love you're seeking. I used to approach relationships like engineering problems. Identify the specifications, find someone who meets them, optimize for compatibility. But people aren't machines, and love isn't mathematics. You can't engineer your way to a perfect marriage any more than you can calculate your way to genuine happiness. Each of my marriages taught me something different about what doesn't work, and more importantly, about what I was bringing to the relationship that made it not work. The common denominator in all my failed relationships wasn't bad luck or incompatible partners, it was me. My expectations, my approach, my understanding of what partnership actually requires. But here's what I've learned about what I would want in a life partner if God decides to bless me with another chance at real love. These aren't demands or expectations. They're hopes born from hard experience, wisdom earned through failure, and clarity that only comes from understanding what doesn't work. First, I'm looking for someone who has her own mission, not someone who wants to join mine, not someone who's looking for purpose through me, but someone who already knows what she's passionate about and is actively pursuing it. My previous marriages taught me that when 2 people try to build one life together, somebody always ends up diminished. But when 2 complete people choose to build parallel lives that intersect and support each other, both people grow stronger. I want a partner who gets excited about her own work, who has goals that don't depend on me, who brings her own sense of purpose to the relationship, not because I want distance, but because I want depth. I want to learn from someone who's building something meaningful, not someone who's waiting for me to make her life meaningful. In my first marriage, I think Justine often felt like she was living in my shadow, that her writing career became secondary to supporting my entrepreneurial ambitions. That wasn't intentional, but it happened because we didn't establish clear boundaries between supporting each other and losing ourselves in each other. In my second marriage with Tallulah, I found myself trying to slow down my work pace to create more space for romance and togetherness. But that just made me resentful and restless, and it didn't actually create the deep connection we were both seeking. I've learned that the most attractive thing about a person isn't their availability to focus on you, it's their passion for something meaningful. I want to be with someone who lights up when she talks about her work, her art, her mission, her contribution to the world. Someone who brings energy to the relationship because she's energized by her own life. This doesn't mean we can't share interests or work together on projects, but it means we each come to the relationship as whole people, not halves looking to be completed. It means we're choosing to share our lives, not merge them into one life that belongs to neither of us. Second, I need someone who understands that love and logistics are different things. Love is about emotion, connection, shared values, mutual respect. Logistics are about schedules, responsibilities, practical decisions about how to structure a life together. Most of my relationship conflicts have been about logistics disguised as love issues. Arguments about how much time I spend working, where we should live, how to balance public attention with private life, how to integrate families from previous relationships. These aren't love problems, they're coordination problems. The mistake I made in previous relationships was treating logistical disagreements as evidence that we didn't love each other enough. If she complained about my schedule, I heard, "You don't love me." If I prioritized a work crisis over a social event, she heard, "Work matters more to you than I do." But the truth is, you can deeply love someone and still need to negotiate practical arrangements that work for both of you. You can care about someone's happiness and still have non-negotiable commitments that limit your availability. You can be fully committed to a relationship and still need that relationship to fit within the other responsibilities in your life. I want a partner who can separate these two things, who can love me while also being realistic about what life with me actually looks like, who can negotiate practical arrangements without making them emotional battlegrounds. Someone who says, "I love you and I also need these specific things to be happy in this relationship. Let's figure out if we can make this work for both of us." Not someone who says, "If you really love me, you would automatically know what I need and change your entire life to provide it." This requires a level of emotional sophistication that I didn't have in my earlier marriages and that I didn't know to look for in partners. It's the difference between mature love and romantic love. Romantic love says, love should be enough to solve all problems. Mature love says, love is the foundation, but we still need to build a structure that works for both of us. Third, I'm looking for emotional maturity that matches my own stage of life. At 54, I know who I am. I know my strengths and my flaws, my patterns and my triggers, my non-negotiables and my areas of flexibility. I need a partner who has done similar work on herself. I don't want to be someone's growth project